Hello everyone, and welcome to the, 11th episode, is it? Of Britain and Ireland and OpenTTD. We're beginning off with the Midland Great Western Railway in Ireland, building a branch line to Lochrie. And now we have a big development. This is the fourth bridge line. Well, the fourth bridge really. I'm sure everyone who's watching this knows what the fourth bridge is, but in case you don't, for this, all the trains from Edinburgh northwards had to go all the way up to Stirling to progress northwards, and then all the way back if you go into Dundee. However, this massive engineering project straight up built a bridge over the massive mouth of Forth, also known as the further Forth. Anyway, this is the 11th episode. This is going to be covering the 1890s. The completion of the fourth bridge also introduced a lot of quick expresses from London and Edinburgh northwards to Dundee, Perth, Inverness, that kind of place. Now we have both the Wrexham, Mold and Connah's Quay Railway and the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire, both extending from Buckley and Chester respectively to Hawarden Bridge to meet up there. The North Eastern just building a small branch line from Market Weighton to Driffield. Excuse me. Which allows you to finish the services from Selby to Driffield. This is the Great Western Railway introducing a new express train called the Cornishman from London Paddington all the way to Penzance, only stopping at Bristol, Exeter and Plymouth. And the London South Western is tired of using the Great Western between Plymouth and Tavistock to actually access Plymouth. So they're building their own line that essentially parallels the Great Western all the way down into Plymouth via Barralston. I believe today this is called the I can't remember what it's called, but it's still open today as far as Barralston. Great Western just building a tiny branch line to Woodstock, and the Midland connecting to its branch line building a new branch line from Langley Mill through Heanor and Ripley up to Butley. This also involved the replacement of the station of Ripley. And the North British further developing the Forth Bridge project by building the express line from the top of the Forth Bridge through Dunfermline and Cowdenbeath and Kinross all the way up to Perth. Before this, trains to Perth had to go by Ladybank. Caledonian building a branch line to Irvine from its own Lanarkshire and Ayrshire Railway. The Carrickfergus and Larne Railway absorbed by the Belfast and Northern Counties, and a few small railways being absorbed by their respective larger railways. The Rhondda and Swansea Bay Railway tunnelling through the mountains from Simmer to Treherbert. And the Somerset and Dorset Railway building a branch line to Bridgewater North. And the Midland building a branch line from Staveley down to Pleasley to link up with another one of its industrial lines in the area. Before I slightly rebuild this because I realised I put the junction away. The Halifax High Level Railway, building another terminus in Halifax called Halifax St Paul's, on the other side of the city. London North Western, building a tiny branch line to Stanmore. And this is the Tralee and and we're moving to 1891. We have the Tralee and Dingle Light Railway, which is a narrow gauge railway in the western edges of Ireland. And Dingle Station at the end of the line was actually the westernmost railway station in the British Isles. And this line was actually used a lot by Irish immigrants going to the Americas. As this is where they would get the train from all across Ireland to Tralee, where they'd get the narrow gauge railway to Dingle, where the ship would be waiting for them to take them across the ocean. I put a Fisher Harbour in at Dingle before I realised that the narrow gauge wagons can't actually carry fish. I think that'll change soon though, but I think it's just the limits of the mod. Great Southern Western, building a branch line to Mitchelstown. And on the south coast of Ireland, this is the Timberleague and Cormac Sherry Railway. This is the Stratford-upon-Avon, Towcester and Midland Junction Railway, opening between Towcester and Olney on the Midland Railway. And this is the Eyemouth Railway, just a tiny branch line on the East Coast Main Line. And then this is the City of Dublin Junction Railway, linking to the massive termini in the city centre of Dublin, which is Westland Row and Amiens Street. And the London South Western, not content with access to Plymouth, then builds its own station in Plymouth, called Plymouth Friary. And the Great Northern Railway, extending its Derbyshire lines by building a branch line to Heanor. And then we have the Easing Road Railway, just a small light railway. A few railways in Scotland, the Blaine Valley and the Strathendick and Aberfoyle Railway being absorbed by the North British. The Great Eastern, building a new suburban line from Cheshire down to Edmonton via Enfield Lock. And the Blaine Valley Railway, and moving to 1892. The Finn Valley Railway and the West Donegal Railway have merged into the Donegal Railway, and at that point the Finn Valley was also converted to narrow gauge to match the West Donegal Railway. So they're now a continuous line from Strabane. Small branch line from Mold to Coed Talon by the London North Western. Those are a few of the colliery lines in the area. Girvan and Paul Patrick Junction Railway has been absorbed by the London and South Western finally. So can now run direct trains to Stranraer. And the South Eastern Railway is building its own line, branch line from Strood into Chatham. The previous express train, the Flying Dutchman, is being withdrawn. Now it's been replaced by the Cornishman. And now we have the South Clare Railway, as an extension of the West Clare Railway from Milltown Malbay to Kilrush and Kilkeen. Put in a quick ferry service from Kilrush to Ballybunion. Manchester and Sheffield Lincolnshire Railway building a South Manchester suburban line to give it its own access into Manchester Central on the Cheshire Lines Committee. It still continued to use London Road because it could, basically, but diverted most of its services to Manchester Central. And it's also building an extension southwards from Sheffield to Chesterfield. Now this is the starting point of something that will just be discussed later in the episode. And the North British Railway building a new suburban terminus in Bridgeton. And the Highland Railway, in response to a new proposed railway through the Great Glen from Falkland to Inverness, is building a more direct line into Inverness from Aviemore, which is what the Highland Line uses today. So I mentioned the railway through the Great Glen. That'll be discussed more in a very special episode, which is going to be next episode. Because now we're in by the end of this episode we're in 1900. This is the Belfast and County Down Railway, building a branch into Ardglass. And this is the London Tilbury and Southend, connecting to its lines from Grays to Upminster. And the London Chatham and Dover Railway building the Catford Loop. And the Metropolitan Railway, having absorbed the Aylesbury and Buckinghamshire Railway, then connects the two lines it owns by building an extension from Chalfont near Chesham through Amersham all the way up to Aylesbury. So now it has a line from London all the way up to Verney Junction, not far from Bletchley. Extension of the line from Birkhead to Holborn, and then a branch line from Claremorris to Ballinrobe. And now we go into 1893. Hereford Barton Station closes and converted to a goods station, and all the services being diverted to Hereford Bars Court. The Manchester Sheffield link extending further southwards from Chesterfield Central to Annesley, where it links up with the Great Northern Railway's Derbyshire lines into Nottingham and London Road. So now Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire has a line from Sheffield to Nottingham. So it's directly competing with the Midland with these lines. This is the where are we? The Midland. No, it's not. Yes, it is. This is a new station in Cork, replacing Summerhill and Penrose Quay. The station's called Glenmire Road, and that's the one that's open today. In South West Wales, the Rosebush and Fishguard Railway, which is the new railway, and the Main Clog Railway have merged into the North Pembrokeshire and Fishguard Railway, and built an extension to Letterston. Now the aim of this railway was just extend the Rosebush branch to Fishguard. And And now we have the Cork and Muskerry Light Railway building a branch line to Donaghmore. And this is the Cork Bandon and South Coast Railway extending to Baltimore. The Crieff and Comrie Railway, just an extension of the branch line from Crieff to Comrie. The Eastern and Midlands Railway has been absorbed jointly by the Great Northern and the Midland Railway, becoming this famous Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway. And with that, I've put in some holiday services. The Great Northern is taking a holiday service from Leeds to Norfolk, and the Midland Railway is beginning express service from Birmingham to Norfolk. And the London Tilbury and Southend connecting onto the Great Eastern Main Line by building a branch line to Romford. This is North Cornwall Railway extending its line from Launceston to Camelford. I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that, I just had a phone call that I had to take. I'm back now. Where were we? Yes, this is the North Cornwall Railway. Now we're onto the Cranbrook and Paddock Wood Railway, which is just a short branch line from Paddock Wood down to Hawkhurst. I altered the recording so you can actually see the date in the bottom corner now, so that'll just constantly be there, so I won't have to constantly tell you what the date is, although it's not quite accurate because, real quickly, this is just the Great Southern and Western Railway building a couple of branch lines to Valencia Harbour and Kenmare. Anyway, as I was saying, what I normally do is I keep the date paused, and then because I can't really record if it's playing because it just kind of takes up too much space and the recording kind of becomes slightly corrupted. So what I do is I keep it paused, then normally I build about 6 months or a year or 4 months, so about an hour of footage. Then I pause it, and then I set up a region of goods. I've been doing a lot of freight work off camera, and I'll discuss that probably in the next live stream. I'll show you a few of those. And of course at the end of the series we're going to go over everything. We're going to have a massive finale. Real quickly, this is the Donegal Railway extending from Donegal to Cleebegs. Anyway, as I was saying, I've been doing a lot of freight, so what I do is when it's paused, I'm actually about 4 months or 6 months or whatever behind the actual date of these openings. For example, this is this Highland line to Fog Harbours was actually in October, but it's still shown as September because I keep it paused. Anyway, so I set up the goods, then I hit play and let all the trains kind of sort themselves out, let the collieries and industry start working. This is the branch line to Kingareen, and this is the Great Western building a branch line to Kingsbridge. Going into 1894, you can see the dates jump ahead 4 months all of a sudden. The North Cornwall's been absorbed by the London South Western, and the London North Western's actually built a branch line to Uppingham. The Midland is building a new line from Sheffield to Manchester through the Totley Tunnel, and then through Hope, through the Hope Valley, where it links up with the Midland line just south of Chapel in Niflith. So yeah, this is the Hope Valley line, which is still open today, and I will hopefully be travelling on in June. Hopefully have a few rail tours booked up, which it's very, very rare to see rail tours come from Newcastle. Normally the Scottish Railway Preservation Society does a few, and there was meant to be one from Newcastle to Inverness, but I believe got cancelled. So that leaves one in June to Chester and one in October to Kidderminster for the Severn Valley. So I'll hopefully be on them. Just the Midland building a short branch line to Eden. and the Rhymney building a branch line to how do you pronounce that? Sengenyid, that sounds about right. And the Highland building a branch line from Muirvoord to Fortrose. The Highland Railway is going to feature massively in the next episode, but I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you what it is. It's going to happen when it happens, but it's going to be a special. The Caledonian building completing the Cathcart loop from Cathcart through Pollokshaws down back into Glasgow, and the Midland Great Western building a branch line from Westport through Newport to Mallarani near the Isle of Aishel. Sorry, I'm just getting messages and phone calls. That's not important, I'm going to leave that one. The Midland Railway, not the Great Western, not the Midland Great Western, just the Midland, building a branch line to Higham Ferrers. And this is the Lee on the Solent Railway, opening from near Gosport to Lee on the Solent. There's a big theme in this episode of very short branch lines, and that's just because there's very, very few villages that were left without railway connections. So what would happen is the moment a village kind of became big enough to warrant a railway connection, that was it. Just a short branch line was built from the nearest main line to that village. They didn't really care about connecting up. Sorry, this is the what is this? Oh yeah, this is the Tottenham and Forest Gate Railway. The start of the... It's the Goblin Line. Yeah, it's the Goblin Line. I've completely lost my train of thought. Hey, you get it. I can't remember what I was saying. This is the Manx Electric Railway, which is a tramway opening between Douglas and Laxey on the Isle of Man. Oh yeah, I was saying about short branch lines. They didn't care about connecting that village into where, say, most of the market traffic or people went. They just cared about connecting up to the nearest main line. They didn't care if it was like massive roundabout route. I have a big one here. This is the West Highland Railway, opening from Helensburgh near Glasgow all the way up to Fort William. This one takes quite some time, and I think I don't have anything to say right now, so I'm just going to sit back and let you watch the construction of this very rugged Highland Railway. One thing I'd like to say is although this railway from Helensburgh, the only actual town in Gael passed through was Arachar. It has a lot of connections. For example, the top of Loch Lomond, it connected with the ferries, now it's connected with the Caledonians line. Then it's Creamark, and then it has its own station in Tindrum. Here we have the famous Horseshoe Curve. Not the one in America, the one in the West Highland. to say that the West Highland line is complete. North British also built a short branch line to Charlestown. It was previously open for like nearly 100 years as a small tramway, but it has just been converted to a railway. The Honda and Swansea Bay Railway is building its own line from Aberaeron all the way to Swansea. And also built its own branch line to Neath in Neath Canal side. And the Donegal Railway is building a branch line from Stranraer to Glenties via Fintown, where today there's a preservation society for the Donegal Railway. And the Waterford and Limerick Railway is extending its Western Corridor line from Claremorris outside of Westport up to Cluny outside of Sligo. So now it's had its own trains running from Limerick all the way up to Sligo. The Midland Great Western is also building a branch line from Galway westwards to Oak Turret. I'm not sure. On its way to Clifton. And this is the Forfar and Brechin Railway, which was originally the route of this line was actually meant to going to be on the main line from Perth to Aberdeen from Forfar, but they decided not to use this, and they decided just to use some of the line from Forfar to Guthrie, which was already open at the time. This is the Southeastern, building a new suburban line south of the Thames from Blackheath to Dartford via Eltham and Welling. And the Midland Great Western is extending its line from Mallarani to Achill, the Isle of Achill. It was the station was on the side of the pier for the ferry, and the West Highland building a short branch line to Banavie Pier on the Caledonian Canal. And the Wirral Railway building a branch line to Seacombe. And the North Cornwall Railway, which has now been absorbed into the London South Western, completing its line from Camelford southwards to Wadebridge, where it connects up with the Bodmin and Wadebridge Railway, which the London and South Western had previously absorbed, and up until now it was completely disconnected. The Great Western building a branch line to Newcastle Emlyn. Now, if you remember, the Carmarthen to Pencarder section was actually opened by a railway called the Carmarthen and Cardigan Railway, and they're originally going to use that route from Cardiff via Newcastle and Emlyn to reach Cardigan, but they just never had the funds. The Midland Great Western Railway completed the line from that place I couldn't pronounce to Clifton. And the London North Western, linking its line from Daventry to Leamington Spa, that is. And this is the North Eastern, extending its line from Stanhope all the way up to Weirhead, where there's lots of lead mines. And this is the Wrexham and Aylesbury Railway, which is just an extension of the Cambrian Railways, from Aylesbury up to Wrexham Central. And now we have a big one. We'll have the Glasgow Central Railway, which is the Caledonians' response to the North British Railway's City of Glasgow Railway, which is the underground one which ran via Queen Street. So this is the Caledonians Glasgow Central Railway, which ran underground to Glasgow Central. This is the North Wales and Liverpool Railway, between Hawarden Bridge and Bidston. Jointly operated by the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire and the Wrexham, Mold and Conisky. At the start of the episode we linked those two, so now they're jointly working together to extend to the Wirral. And thus gain access to Bergenhead Docks. And this is the Snaefell Mountain Railway, opening from Laxey up to the top, at the very tip of Snaefell Summit. And also a few years earlier, but I completely missed this, there was the Snowdon Mountain Railway, which is the exact same concept, a tramway from a railway at the bottom of the mountain all the way up to the top, for like purely for tourists. I put a hotel up there, which obviously there wasn't in reality, but there's a cafe and it just gives us like a source for passengers, you know. This is the Brechin and Edsall District Railway. And then we have the Lanarkshire and Dumbartonshire Railway, which is Caledonians' way to gain access to the north bank of the Clyde. He used the Lanarkshire and Ayrshire to gain access to Ardrossan, and they used this one to gain access to Dumbarton. Because apparently they don't like it when they're happy to impede on the other company's territory, i.e. the Glasgow South Western and the North British here. But then when the North British tried to build the West Highland Line, which is like way up in the Highlands, obviously, which Caledonia has nothing to do with, they tried to complain, saying, "Oh, this is our territory, you can't build a railway here." It's very hypocritical, but that's Victorian railway capitalism. Yeah, so this line was just built pretty much parallel to the existing North British Railways lines there, but it went from Dalmarnock, and then it looped all the way around the north and western sides of Glasgow, then up through Bowling and Clydebank to Dumbarton. Glasgow South Western, building a branch line from Hurlford near Kilmarnock to Davil. It's actually went there slightly beyond Davil in reality to coal mines there. There's no station. A small closure here, the small branch line to Lower Hamworthy has been closed just for passengers, so freight traffic still going there. And the Barry Railway is building a branch line from Barry to Barry Island. And so the North British building a small branch line to Whiteinch Victoria Park. And this is the completely missed things like that. Completely missed the Manchester, Sheffield and Lancashire being renamed to the Great Western. Just lost where it was, sorry. And this is the London and South Western building a branch line from Plymouth Priory to Turnchapel. Now we have the Lanarkshire, Derbyshire and East Coast Railway. We'll talk much more about this railway in the next episode. But basically it was originally conceived to link collieries in the area to the coast and to the coast on the Lancashire coast near Sutton-on-Sea. But eventually the only bit that was built was a line from Chesterfield through to Lincoln. This is the Budleigh-Salterton Railway, opening from a junction off the Sidmouth branch at Tipton St John's through Budleigh-Salterton to Exmouth. And the North British extending its Clydebank branch to link up at Bowling, well, just south of Bowling, more like Kilwinning. Well, Dalmuir. And this is the the Midland building its own line, mirroring the Great Central, from Sheffield via Chapeltown to Barnsley. And some of the railways in Lancashire, the West Lancashire Railway and the Liverpool, Southport and Preston Junction Railway, which were formed exclusively to compete with the Lancashire and Yorkshire, have been absorbed by the Lancashire and Yorkshire. This is the Newport, Godchill and St Lawrence Railway, opening from near Newport down to Ventnor. And the Great Western building a branch line to Yalmton. I just realised I completely missed out 6 months. I don't know how I've done this, but this whole 6 months that I've completely just like... How on earth did I do that? Alright, I'll come back to that at the end of the episode. But yeah, apparently I just completely forgot to either record or build. It looks like build at all. The section between the second half of 1897. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies are going crazy. Anyway, this is the Port Talbot Railway, opening from Port Talbot through Mistake to Pontrill. And this is the Coward, Wistow and Selby Railway, opening as a branch line from Selby to Coward, originally supposed to carry on to Church Fenton. And a few railways in southern Ireland being absorbed by the Great Southern Western to form a through route from Cork to Waterford. this is the Aberlady, Gullane and North Berwick Railway. And now we have the Lambourne Valley Railway opening between Newbury and Lambourne, which was a light railway. And now we have the Linton and Barnstaple Railway, which is narrow gauge, opening from Barnstaple through to Linton and Lynmouth. Via Woody Bay. And the Midland South Western is sick of using the Great Western Railway's branch line between Savernake and Marlborough, so it builds its own line from Marlborough at lower level directly down to Savernake high level. And this is the Norfolk and Suffolk Joint Railway, opening from a branch line from North Walsham to Mundersley. And this one's really unique because it's a joint railway between the Great Eastern Railway and another joint railway. Now we have the Blackpool Tramway, opening from Stargate, just south of Blackpool, all the way up to Fleetwood. I was actually going to put in lots of stops, but I then decided there's no point. I'll just try and draw the towns and I'll just place stops in as I go. And this is the Manx Electric Railway, extending from Laxey all the way up to Ramsey, which is a big problem for the Manx Northern Railway because it gives a much more direct route between Douglas and Ramsey. The London South Western, extending its line from Halsworthy to Bute. And the Lancashire, Derbyshire and East Coast Railway, building a branch line from Sherbrooke to Clown South. This will be talked about more in the next episode, but basically it becomes eventually a branch line, an independent branch line to Sheffield, independent of both the Midland and the Great Central. Now the North Sunderland Railway, we'll talk about this in the next episode a lot more as well. But yes, just a short light railway branch line between Chattel and Seahouses. Going into 1899, we'll have a very big thing to start off with. This is the Great Central Railway, building the Great Central Main Line from Annesley, north of Nottingham, through Nottingham, Loughborough, Leicester, Rugby, all the way down to Quainton Road, where it meets the Metropolitan Railway, where it made a deal with the Metropolitan Railway. So the line between Finchley Road near Harrow and Wembley, all the way up to Quainton Road, would become jointly owned between the Metropolitan and the Great Central. So that would give the Great Central access to London, where it builds its own station there at London Marylebone. So this is another massive project, so I'll finish it up and I'm going to let you watch this. completion of the Great Central Main Line, I believe that's the 5th route from London to Manchester. And this is also the London South Western Railway extending its line from Wadebridge up to Padstow. And the North Pembrokeshire and Fishguard Railway completing its line all the way up to Fishguard and Goodwick. And shortly before being absorbed by the Great Western Railway. In the Highland, building a branch line to Fort George. Well, from Fort George, this was a station called Fort George, but it got renamed to Cornfield Junction when the branch line to Fort George was opened. If that makes sense. The South Eastern Railway and the London, Chatham and Dover Railway have merged together because neither of them were really that bothered about actually providing a good service, but they were both bothered about actually competing with each other. So eventually they both went bankrupt. So they merged together into the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. And then the London and North Western builds a branch line from Buxton to Ashburn. And the last thing we're going to be doing before I talk to you afterwards about the missed bit was the Brill Tramway being absorbed by the Metropolitan. Right. I'll see you in a second. So I don't know what happened there. I literally just straight up forgot to build a whole half section of track. A whole half a year of railways. So we're going to do it now, and I'm just going to do it live. I'm going to talk to you through it as I'm doing it, see if I can actually play and talk at the same time. It'll be a big challenge. So we're starting off here with the West Sussex Railway, which is just a light railway, just really just to go to a few villages around here. So we're going to start off here at Chelsea Beach Station, and then we're going to go up just a tiny bit because I want to try and get both stations in. Actually, why does that take us up here? And we're going to go from Chelsea Beach to Chichester. And it just goes through a small, tiny little villages, couple of golf clubs, that kind of thing. Where does the coverage of the station ends? Just before that one little house. So I want the next station to begin here. And that's going to be Chelsea Town. I'm not sure if you heard that, but something just got put through the letterbox. I hope it's not a bomb. So from here we're going to continue, we're going to go up a bit. Right, so we've got Chelsea, it's not Chelsea Central. It's Chelsea Town. And I can't find any depot information for light railways like that, so I'm just going to put in a one there. We're just going to have one train. I'll use just the 042 tank. I could use the industrial, but it's fine. I'm saving the industrial for in fact I'll go show you. So I mentioned that I've been doing a lot of freight work off camera. And I've done actually most of the country now. I've done all of Wales, all of Scotland, all of southern England. The only bit that's left to do is like the Midlands and like the northern powerhouse area. So I've kind of done all the way up to the River Ribble here, and all the way up to York and Hull. So I just have to do, I've done all of Wales, so I've just got to do the Birmingham area, the Liverpool, Manchester area, Sheffield, Leeds, Lincoln, that's it. But here up in Fleetwood, I've got a few industrial tanks running, this yellow one, and just a few wagons taking salt from the salt mine, which I've linked up to this station, across to the chemical plant here. And also chlorine from the chemical plant to the liquids terminal gets turned into acid, chlorine, acid, then the acid back down to here. I'm saving the industrial tanks just for stuff like that. I'll discuss freight a bit more on the live streams. I need a drink of water, I'd like to specify. I don't hate this series that much. The Kettering, Thrapston and Huntingdon Railway is being absorbed by the Midland. It's a good chance it already has been here. Then, oh, there it is. You go into the Midland, then going to the Midland Counties region. I've messed this up. There we go. And this can become, I'll rename that just to mesh with other services, to Kettering, Cambridge. Right, now we'll have up in Scotland, we'll have this line here, which I've built twice before, then realised, oh, that hasn't happened yet. Which is the direct line from Edinburgh to Dalmeny without having to take the line through Ratho. Like so. So now all the trains due to go northwards across the Forth Bridge from Edinburgh will use this line. Also at the same time, a line opened from Phillipston, which is about here, which kind of went up and around. Hang on. I've got my map on the other screen. Yeah, so it kind of went along here and then linked up out here. Very complex junction here. I'm also going to put this in, which means that trains going from this way can kind of go up and loop around to get across to this way. And it can just link up to the main line there. Yep, that's about right. Yeah, so now all the freight trains coming from these oil wells also, I've realised my mistake. Why are you? Yeah, so I forgot to put a cord in here, so now the train, so before I put that in, the trains going from these oil wells to this refining, we're having to go all the way along into Edinburgh, most likely turn around at this depot, then head back up, then up through Ratho here, and then do literally the same thing going back. Now I've cut off a hell lot of journey time. Oops. Yep, so that's those two lines in. The Anstruther and St Andrews Railway has been absorbed by the North British. And I assume the Leven at Easter Fife has as well. So let's just quickly change this to, instead of running from St Andrews to Anstruther, go all the way to Thornton Junction. There we go. Then we'll tell this train, this very old train, to just copy the orders. Yep, so what I'll do now is I'll go to the North British. And then in the Fife region we'll have Thornton, St Andrews. Then we'll take the trains in the Anstruther and St Andrews Railway and put it into here. And the trains in the Leven and Easter Fife Railway, there it is, and put it in there. And we'll get rid of those empty groups. Why are you still here? Oh, I'm going to sell this. Right. We'll have the Great North of Scotland extending from Ellen to Bodham. Where are either of those places? Ah, it's this one. Yes, it's this little light railway here. This is a branch line from here. Let's rebuild this station. got a new keyboard and it is terrible. Come on. There we go. Then we'll put a new platform in, right here. And it's going to be our starting point. Like so. Actually, let's get the map up so I know exactly which alignment to take. I'm actually showing you how I do this. So it looks like, yeah, so it looks like when we're looking at the map here, it kind of follows up this valley, then across, then down into here. So let's follow that. Yeah, that looks about right, and we're going to bottom, but we're going via Cruden Bay, which is here, so we'll have to follow the coast. So what we'll do is we'll looks like we can follow this path, and then kind of come inwards a bit. That looks like a good location for the station. Station location. That's bottom. Then we've got Cruden Bay to put in. Let's hide that. Yep. Then we'll have our Cruden Bay station about there. That'll do. If it's in range. Oh god, I hope it's in range. Oh, come on. There, that's where it'll actually be in range. Right, so this is Cruden Bay. No, not Bottom West, Cruden Bay. Yeah, because the Great North of Scotland had its own massive hotel there. And it even had a little tramway to carry, well, I think it was actually laundry from the station down to the hotel. Imagine that, imagine finally getting to become a train driver and you're just carrying trains full of dirty laundry. Come on. Oh, I don't like this new keyboard. Actually, that reminds us, I watched a video on Laurie's Mechanical Marvels a little while ago of this person who built the world's legally smallest garden railway, and he justified it as such because he took his washing and using it. Depot wise, I've got the website up which gives us a list of all the steam depots in British Railways. Is the one at Ellen? No, is the one at Bottom? No, is the one at Cruden Bay? No, it doesn't look like there's one actually on this line. So, like, I guess in reality, they used logos from Aberdeen or maybe Peterhead or Fraserburgh. So I'll just put a one there, and I know it's not accurate, but oh, is that a new carriage? Is that a new carriage? Ah, no, it's the Clarity College. Yeah, I've already got that. Right, now if we go to the Great North of Scotland, this is Ellen to Bottom. I'll actually put 2 trains on this because there's because the hotel generates crazy amounts of traffic. Right, the Highland Railway is extending from Stromeferry to Kyle-Lacalsh. Once again, we'll talk about this massively in the next episode because this was a very important detail. So Stromeferry, we're going to get rid of Stromeferry Station. I think we are. Actually, we're under the right company. Yes. So we're going to extend all the way along to Kyle of Lacalche. Now this is actually a quite short extension, but at the time of it, when it was being built, it was the most expensive railway per aisle in the per mile in the whole country. I'm going to use that one. Although no, I'll just use it at this one. I'm going to give it plenty of length in case you want to run freight trains up down here. And also let's put in a ferry dock. And let's take the ships that are going here. Let's get rid of Strom Ferry and Lacalche Buoy 2 and 3. And instead let's go there. There we go, that's about right. So now we've got to build a railway up to Strom Ferry. And looks like at Plockton it goes slightly inland, so where's that? It's here. Well, apparently I've just deleted that whole peninsula when I was making the map. Oops. Sorry, Plockton. Where are we going then? We're going here. I'm going to change the train slightly just to get nicer corners. Because it just bothers if we kind of like went in, then back out. Yeah, I don't like that. So I'll just do that. Come on, there we go. I just don't like this keyboard likes the R key. Maybe it just doesn't like seeing bits of track get removed. There we go, that wasn't that expensive. I don't know what they're talking about. So we'll get rid of Strom Ferry and replace it with Kyle of Lacalche. And also I'm going to put a few more passing places in. So we've got one there, and we've got one there. We'll put one in here. Like so. Right, that'll do. We have the South Eastern Railway extending from Purley to Tottenham Corner. Sorry, the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. No, it is the South Eastern because this is before 1898. Oh, this is messing with my head. Quick question: where's Purley? What lines haven't been built yet? I'm having to look this up. Where is Purley? Like, I know it's in London, but... Oh, I know. It's here. So we don't have an actual station at Purley, but we can get Tottenham Corner in. Right, so it's going to be going here. Yep, that's it. Yep, there's Purley. And we're going to go up this valley. I'm going to keep it single track though. We're going to put a station in Coulsdon here though. That's Coulsdon South. That's Coulsdon North. But looks like there's a third one. Coulsdon Town. Can I squeeze in that? Yes. That's Coulsdon town. Then we're going to go single track along here. How far up the valley are we going? Not that far actually. Because this valley looks like it ends like here. I think we need to be about there. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'll put Tottenham Corner in. Yeah, the London, Brighton, South Coasters have... Oh, why is London Bridge blocked up again? It keeps doing this. Oh, why is it there? Why are you there? The trains keep doing this. Like, a big express train will pull forward and get itself stuck here. Not sure if I've already fixed this one, I'm just kind of waiting for it to sort itself out. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's fixed. So now, yeah, it's moving. It's fine, it's fine. Although I don't think I need 4 trains going to here. I'm going to put an extra station in. Yeah, I'll put Kingswood Station in. Because obviously I am actually going to hope to grow London out. At least all the other downtowns as well, to kind of hopefully cover this whole area. Oh. I'm not very hopeful. So this is Kingswood. What? Where's Kingswood? Well, this is Kingswood. I think this is Sussex. So, sorry. Right? I think so. And where's the other one? Let's go to stations. Actually, let's look for towns. Is there a town called Kingswood? No. So where's the other Kingswood station? I'm not sure. That sounds like a problem for off camera. So let's get some more trains. Here we go. And this is going to start in Cannon Street. I send all my suburban services into Cannon Street and all my intercity services into Charing Cross. And we're going to stop slow. We're going to go through New Cross Gate on at Oak Park. I swear there's a station here that I removed. Penge West, East Croydon, Purley, actually before Purley, Croydon SER, then Purley, then Coulsdon Town, Kingswood, Tadno Corner and back. We're just going to have 2 trains on this. So this is Cannon Street to Tandem Corner. Right. Now we have the Western, Clevedon and Portishead Railway. I'm adding an extra half an hour onto this video. Oops. Opening between Weston-super-Mare, Ashcombe Road and Clevedon. Okay. So the station in Weston is going to be... Actually, was this railway included in the grouping? No. So that means I need to put it under a new company. Like so. Now we have Western Supermare, Ashcombe Road. Then we have Walltown. Up here. Then we're going to go on to Clevedon, and this is going to be a new station at Clevedon. Might need to move the Great Western Line. So, along here? Yes. Actually, should I make it just the same station? Nah. This is Clevedon GWR. And this new station is going to be... Clevedon WCPR. And we're going to run right along the coast, I believe. Like so. And before this continues, I'm gonna let's see, can that come in like so? So put that in, and so on, just so I can still put it in and let the town grow. I'm putting this connection in because I'm hang on. Oh, I've put it one along because I need a signal. Oops. So that needs to go there. Signal there. Might need to get rid of that building. Come on, there we go. Nope. I'm pressing R. Can you hear me pressing R? Oh, God's sake. There we go. Yeah, need to move that building. No, could you like do this? Yep, that looks neater. Oops. Sorry, I didn't need to demolish you. Can I squeeze a signal in there? Yes, I think I can. Yeah, so I'm going to run clay from here, this clay pit, down to the paper mill at Wells. Now though, let's get a train in. Put 3 trains in because I think that's literally as many as I can fit on the line without it becoming like congested. Let's put a road station in there so it covers the hotel, so it gets all the passenger catchment. And this is the Western Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway, owned by the infamous Colonel Stevens. Right, one thing we'll have left to do before actually finally let this episode end, we'll have another live stream before the next one, is the Vale of Glamorgan Railway up by the Barry Railway from Barry through Aberthaw and Llanwit Major up to Bridgend. And we're going to run along the coast. So first stop is going to be Aberthaw, and there was 2 separate stations here, but they had the exact same name, but I'm going to put them in. It's the same station, or at least connected, so I can have interchange here. However, we're going to come back to that because I'm not sure how it's going to line up. So we're going to carry on from this end. I think we're going to be on this side of the hill. Like, link up there, and link up here. That looks like we'll kind of continue south a little bit, go above here. I'm going to need to move that quarry. How am I going to do this? Let's hide that forest. Well, see, I would do it just like this, but you can't put stations on the diagonal. How about, yep, that, and then a bridge. Then we're gonna just connect these 2 sections up. Then we'll signal it up. And what services run here? Let's see. If we look at Barry, let's get my services document up. So obviously the Barry did have a passenger service running to Bridgend, but I'm just trying to work out, did it start at Barry? Did it start at Cardiff? Did it start all the way up in Porth? So let's search for Aberthaw. And under the Barry we'll have Bridgend and Clarence Road. So Clarence Road is right here. And it's actually going to run fast from Cardiff all the way down to Barry, then Aberthaw, Llanwit Major, and Bridgend. And I'll put only 2 trains on this because Barry station here doesn't actually cover the hotel. Barry Docks is the... Well, probably neither of them are. There we go. So now Barry Docks is the one that's going to get a massive amount of passengers. Although saying that... Yeah, no. I don't know. Let's get rid of that. Pub. Barry. So Barry Docks is the one that's actually going to serve the town because it actually has coverage. And then Barry is the one that's going to... Barry proper is the one that's going to carry the hotel. Then Barry Pier is the one that has the steamer services to Burnham and Weston. Right. With that complete, I believe it's actually the end of the episode this time. It actually is. I don't think I missed anything else, although saying that. Yeah, I need a crossover in there. There. So, with all that done, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. And the next episode, remember, is a very, very special one. I'm actually really excited for it. I've been looking forward to it for quite some time. Oh, I just realised I'm stupid. I meant to have music on, and I forgot to put the music on, so you just got my voice over there. I'll edit some music in. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next very special episode. I'm still not telling you what it is. See ya.